Hi guys, this is Flowersand Chocolate. I just wanted to share my testimony since I never really got a chance to share my testimonies for those that are wondering who I am. I'm just a human being just like everybody else. I make mistakes just like everybody else. I go to God all the time saying, apologizing when I see that I've done something wrong. And sometimes I do wrong and then I don't know that I've done it. So I still go to God and apologize when I do wrong. I just wanted to share my testimony. Um, so warning, if you are someone who don't like to hear things that are kind of brutal and you know stuff like that, I recommend you get out of this video. I'm gonna give you a few seconds to do that. If not, if you're interested in listening, because I want to get this out there for anyone who's been going through this kind of stuff, or anyone who's been abused, anyone who is being abused right now or has been abused in the past. I just want to let you know that you are not alone. I've been abused. um okay, I'm gonna continue. I've been abused. I have tried to commit suicide on several occasions. I'm gonna start from the beginning. That is from since I had memory. Since I had memory. Okay, I believe I had some memory since I was 7 years old. Before that, I can barely remember anything before that. But the reason why I know I was seven is because I've asked my mom questions about, do you remember when this and this happened, how old I was. So I've asked my mom how old I was when this and this happened, when she introduced me to so and so. So I'm gonna start from the beginning. That is when I gained memory of life. When I started to be more aware of life, I was 7 years old. I did not know what sex was. I had no idea what that was. Um, I was innocent. I still behave innocent. I think it's just my personality. Just my personality. But I had no idea what sex was. I was just living my life. I was just a child doing childish things. And then I'm from Haiti, by the way. Haiti is like a third world country. Um, it's one of the islands in the Caribbean area, so you can Google it quickly and look at it. My flag is blue, red and blue. This is where I was born. But when I was 7, my mom traveled to Santo Domingo. If you look at the map, you're gonna see that Santo Domingo is like on the other side. On the other side of the island. So Haiti is in one side and Santo Domingo is on the other side. This is kind of difficult to explain because I've been holding this in for so long and I barely talk about it. But since God got on me about this, I'm gonna share it. God's been putting it in my heart that I should share my testimony. What is that verse about testimony? Let me get the verse. Okay, I'm back. I need that verse. I need to get this verse out there. So, Okay, I love to read Revelation 12:11. I love to hear it. I love to read it. It says, and they overcame by him. And they overcame him. I'm sorry. They overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. And they loved not their lives unto death. Okay. So you guys, although I don't like to share things that are part of me, like I don't have much friends. I have like very little friends. That's because sometimes when I have friends, they wanna influence me to do things that are bad, but I want to keep myself pure for God. So I have separated myself from having too much friends, because they always see the need to change me and make me look more like the world. But if I want to keep myself pure for God, sometimes it requires that you be separated. There is a difference between keeping the assembly of Christ, that means going to church and meeting with other people, and going in the world, having worldly friends, and then they'll influence your life and then you fall. There is a difference. If someone is causing you to sin, you gotta separate yourself. Depart from me, all evildoers. I think that is from Psalms. I don't remember Psalms what. Let me see. It's one of them verses from Psalm 119 that says, depart from me, all evildoers. Let me see. Technology does make your life easier. Okay. Okay, I got it. It is Psalm 119 verse 115. Depart from me, ye evildoers, for I will keep the commandments of my God. So if someone is causing you to sin, it's better to depart from them. It's better to depart from them. I am someone that gets influenced not very easily. I would say if I keep doing something over and over again, it's gonna stay in my mind. This is why I remain without much friends. I have very few friends, people that I can trust. I like people that are real and people that do not hold me to high standards. So when I do make a mistake, they don't say, oh, I didn't expect this from you. So I keep myself separated. Not only I don't like when people try to change me, and I don't like when people keep me to high standards, and when I don't meet the high standard, they look at me differently. So all right, back to the testimony. So I was 7. My mom had a relationship with a man in Santo Domingo. That's the other side of Haiti. Okay, so I remember that this man used to call me. He used to call me to go to his room, and then when he calls me, I keep waiting on what he wanted to tell me. He never tells me anything. He's always touching me, touching my chest, touching my body. I had no idea what he was doing. By the way, I was just a child. This is where the abuse began, because it always starts with the grooming. They keep telling you, I'm not gonna hurt you, I'm not gonna hurt you, and you're just a child. You don't know what is right and what is wrong. This is why I am highly against the children that are they are not even 18 or 19 yet, but the parents are encouraging them to be transgenders, to be bi, to be whatever. If your child is young, the mind has not fully developed, they don't know what they are doing. This is why we need parents. This is why parents are important. in children's life. So this man keeps touching me, and it's happening more often and more often, to the point that I'm like, maybe this is the way of life. I don't know. Maybe this is how life is. I had no clue. So this kept going and going, and then I was 8 years old, and then I was 9 years old, and then I started to go to school. Um, I started to develop, I started to learn, and it was tough. Sometimes she would just leave my mother's bed to come at night to touch me, leave my mother's bed to come at night to touch me, or he would just put his hand on my private areas, violating me, because I didn't know what he was doing. You wouldn't know what is right from wrong if your conscience has not developed, your mind has not fully developed. So, when I was about 12 years old, and I still was going to school, this is when I learned what sexual abuse was. I learned it in school, and this is when I started to resist. So, I started to resist. When he come to my room, I would say no. I would say, don't touch me. I would say, get out of my room. I would get so angry with him. Not only was he molesting me, he was this person was my stepdad, by the way. He's the father to my little brother. So I'm like, what is wrong with you? Why do you come to my room? Why, this is not right. So this is when I started to resist, and then he started to make me feel guilty. He said, it's your fault, and if you say something, they're gonna say it's you. She's not gonna believe you. And then when I got worse, he started with threats, like, I can take you to the river. I think I kind of remember he started to threaten me because he had weapons in the house. So it became threats. And I was not the only woman he was using. There were other women. And this man was heavily involved with the voodoo. This is why anything that has to do with voodoo, spells, witches, wizards, I take them very seriously. This man was heavily involved with voodoo, which gave him power to have control over women, to manipulate them. Who knows, maybe he might have used his voodoo on me to keep me quiet because I could have spoken. But he kept threatening me, and then the molestation continues. So it was tough. It was rough. I think it's about 5 years of sexual abuse. If you count it from 7 years old to 12 years old, that's like 5 years of sexual abuse. The thing is, I think, I'm not sure, but I think my mom was aware about it, but she was under a spell. Maybe she was under a spell. Let's say she was under a spell, and then she couldn't do anything. I was suffering. I was depressed. This is really hard. I mean, it took me a long time to heal from this. It took me all my life to heal from this, and I'm still not completely healed. This is hard to talk about. So it took me a while to get over it, to get over the tears, to get over it. But the memory is still there. It's not going away. I think it's gonna stay with me until I die. It's still there. But with Christ, I've learned to forgive, because I realize that I have a greater purpose in life. I have something in me that I have to do for God. I don't know what it is yet, because He has not shown me what it is. But I believe that I have a purpose in my life. I have something. There's something that I need to do to bring glory to God. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm going to start with this testimony, since He has put it in my heart to share it, and I'm going to share it. Although it makes me vulnerable, but I'm going to share it. I know there's some of you out there that are going through the same thing. And I encourage you, start calling on Jesus. Because when you call on Jesus, He will not leave you. He will not leave you until the situation is over. So, when I was 12, I didn't know who God was. I had no idea. All I had was one of those hand-side blue Bibles that they used to give in this New Testament, tiny squarish Bible that they used to give high schoolers before. I have no idea if they used to do that in USA. I live in the USA now. I don't live in Haiti anymore. But this is what we used to get before. I don't live in Santo Domingo anymore. I live in the US. This is what we used to receive before in high school. So I started to call on Jesus. I started to open the Bible. I started to learn about John 3:16. Until God broke the chain. I prayed that God would remove my mom from this kind of relationship. It happened. That was like the first miracle that I saw that God actually did for me, and it was amazing. And then I started praying that God would remove me from this abuser's house, because my mom did leave me behind. There is one thing I wish that my mom would have done. I wish she would have protected me more, because I am a girl. Let's say I was a girl. I needed protection. I needed shield. This is why I focus so much on this channel, that parents, you need to be in your child's life. You need to protect your children. I'm serious. You need to protect your children. Don't dress them like whores. Whores is in the Bible too. Don't say I'm cursing on this channel. But don't dress them like that. Dress them appropriately. Let them be children. Let them play with toys. Let them play with cars, with cooking games like that, and get involved. If something is wrong, you need to know. You need to know. This is your child. You brought her to the world. This is your son, your daughter. You brought them to the world. You need to be aware. Open your eyes. More importantly, always be on God's side. If you're not on God's side, you are on Satan's side by default. Which means if you are not with God, by default, you are with Satan. And Satan can do whatever he want to do in your life if you are not on God's side. So, as I was saying, when I was 12, I started praying that God would deliver me. But you know what? The pain was still there. The abuse was still there. The memory, not the abuse. The abuse, it has finished. But then this abuse opened me up for demons. Okay? This abuse opened me up for demons. I had this suicidal demon, depression demon, masturbation demon. I had this anxiety demon. This demon that keeps trying to shut me up, that make me silent so I don't talk about it. I had these demons in me. I wanted to die. I spent almost all my life trying to die, by the way. By the way, even after I have called upon God, I have asked Him to help me get out of the abuse, get out of the shame, of the pain, I still had these in me, and I didn't cast them out yet. So, they were not cast out of me yet. I spent most of my life depressed. There were times where I tried to hang myself. I remember the first time I tried to commit suicide. I was gonna hang myself with a belt. I just didn't find anywhere to put it. I've watched the TV. I was very young. I was still 12. I was still 12. I didn't find any place around the house that I could hang myself. This is why I did not hang myself the first time. And then there were times that I was tempted to kill my stepfather. There were times I wanted to kill him. I wanted to poison him. But I didn't do it. Something was holding me back. There were times where I tried to, I think when I was around 13, I tried to drink bleach. When I was 15, I tried to drink bleach. Sometime, I tried to jump in front of cars. You know, I learned all this on TV. I learned all of this on TV, obviously. Um, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. But I didn't have the strength to do it. I didn't have the heart to do it. Um, I've tried. When I was like 17, 15, I started to sleep around with boys, and then I started to lie to my mom. I mean, I think I had like, I wish she would have like told me or speak to me about this stuff so I wouldn't get involved, because we need parents. We need our parents. Your child is watching you. Everything you do, your child is watching you. And when you stop raising your children, people outside is gonna raise them for you. You know what? Because of the influences of my friends, I ended up sleeping with a boy. I ended up kissing a boy. And then I had this boy that kind of groomed me into a relationship again. I didn't know what grooming was, by the way. I didn't know what grooming was. So when I was around 15, I was sleeping around with a guy. He was a young man, about 17. But I was wrong for doing it. You know? There was nobody to stop me. There was nobody to tell me that it was wrong, so I was doing it. You know? So this is why I don't have much friends today. I have a husband, of course. I am married. I have a stepdaughter. And I will fight for her. If anyone try to hurt that child, I'm gonna fight for her. But the reason why I am able to share this testimony with you guys is because God has healed me. God has healed my pain. God has taken my depression away. God has washed me. I feel like a new creature. I don't feel like dying anymore. I don't feel like killing myself anymore. I don't feel like cutting my arms. I used to cut my wrist. I learned that from